Hey, welcome to a special edition of the Wheel Friends podcast. I bring you the wheeled world of sports. Today I've got Steve back on the show.
Hello.
We are going to be describing the 3 a.m. Alley Dawg race that happened May 13th. Mother's Day.
At 3 a.m., so I did not see my mom that day.
Yes.
Saw the day before, though.
So yeah, I think I'm going to start with my morning. So I woke up, I tried going to bed at 9 o'clock. I had this plan in my head. I was going to go to bed, sleep for 4 hours, and then do the race, sleep another 4 hours, and then drive up to Ludington to see my mother for Mother's Day.
Woof.
And so this plan was entirely contingent upon me getting 2 separate blocks of exactly 4 hours of sleep
On command.
so that I could be a functioning human being while also being nervous about this bike race. So it's, and I just put in an offer on a house because this is my hell now.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I didn't get it. I try and go to sleep, and then my roommates come home, and it's hella loud. I get this text from my buying agent asking me if I want to put a contingency plan on my house. And so yeah, it was a heavy night all of a sudden, and I'm trying to get psyched out for this race, and I don't actually get to sleep until I swear to God, 11:30. And then I woke up at 2, and I just to the sound of pouring rain on the roof. Or 1:30. I wake up at 1:30, the sound of rain on the roof, and I'm just laying in bed thinking, oh boy, I wonder if this is really happening. Does this have to happen tonight? And then I saw a text from you that said you were on the way.
So my Saturday, I went to Pentwater to help my parents put the dock in the lake and see my mom for Mother's Day and stuff, give her card and whatever. Then I came back to Grand Rapids. I got back to Grand Rapids around 10 o'clock, and having known what your plan was, I was trying to follow that same kind of framework. So I was like, okay, I'll go to bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock, get a couple hours of sleep till 2, and then head over to Craig's house and meet him there at 2. I get home, I immediately go upstairs, hop into bed, whatever, turn the lights off. And I am way too wound up just from having a freaking day to be able to sleep at all. So I'm gonna be laid there for 45 minutes, maybe an hour of just well, any rest is better than no rest. But I did not fall asleep one bit. And my roommates weren't even home. It was great. I had the perfect situation. There's nobody there to make noise. It's just I couldn't fall asleep. And so I was like, well, it's gonna be wet. Because earlier in the day, it said it was supposed to stop raining by 1. And that was not happening. I was like, I don't have a fender. I never figured that out. I was hoping it wouldn't rain, and I had never bought one of those temporary fenders. I didn't know that you had one at the time. I should have asked, but so instead I was like, well, I've got that rack that was broken from my last bike from the last trip that we went on. I was like, I put that on there, that'll block some water. And then I was like, but it's still gonna get out the side. So then I made that, if anybody's seen the pictures from that night, the laminated LaCroix box side protectors.
You showed up with your rack on. I was like, cool, and you're all wet, whatever. We're checking the forecast, and then you're like, hey, do you have any duct tape? And I was like, yeah, I got duct tape. And then you pull out these 2 laminated LaCroix sheets. You just cut rectangles out of the box and just took what is that? Shipping tape. Packaging tape.
Covered them up.
I was like, what the hell are those for?
It worked, damn it. It was a good idea. But that's the kind of shit that I was doing before the race. I couldn't settle down, so I was just like, well, I'm going to try and make this thing waterproof, whatever. Pack my waterproof bag, pack an extra set of clothes, which I ended up ditching at your place, because at 1:45, 2 a.m., when I was supposed to be heading to your place, it was downpouring. And so I was like, well, if it's going to rain, it looked like it was going to rain all night. So I was like, I'm just going to get wet now and whatever. So I crunched it over to Craig's house and was soaking wet by the time I got there. And you're like, oh, hey, what's going on? And then you're like, yeah, it looks like it's supposed to clear up in 30 minutes, so let's just hang out for a bit. Head over there. I'm like, what the fuck? And so, yeah.
We kept it chill.
Yeah, we chilled.
Yeah, so I like to be there early, and we were team journalism. So we left probably 2:45. Roads absolutely clear. It was fantastic. A little damp still,
I was
but yeah,
soaked.
all in all, pretty uneventful.
I didn't know how I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if a bunch of people were going to show up, little bitty people were going to show up, if it was going to get called off. It was downpouring before we showed up, so I didn't know what to expect. But like you said, I was just there for to experience it.
Yeah.
So I didn't go into it thinking I'm gonna try hard. My goal was just to keep up with you, pretty much, which was hard enough as it is. I really didn't know how to feel about it. I was nervous and stuff because I'm kind of a novice in the bike community, especially when we first showed up and everybody's got kind of gear on and I'm just wearing a thermal shirt, a soaking wet thermal shirt, and t-shirt over that, and jeans and sandals and wool socks. Mainly I just wish I had worn a better jacket.
Yeah,
I ditched my jacket and didn't bring it with me, and that was the biggest mistake.
We arrive, and Greg's the first person there. He's there just sort of to assist Mitch. We figured rain would kill turnout, and it pretty much did. So,
yeah, it did.
It was so. I have to say, the people that showed up, kudos to them. It was a fun one.
Definitely thinned out the competition.
Yeah, and it's a mental battle trying to get into a race at There's a lot of factors going against you. It's 3 a.m., which is not a normal time you want to be out doing something.
It's bizarre.
So you have to fight your brain, which wants to go to bed at all times. Then it's a race, which can be nerve-wracking enough.
Yeah.
And it just rained. So there were 3 factors going against this race. So the fact that 9 people did show up, I think is pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty happy about it. I was happy about it once we did see the turnout, just because I was like, oh man, that's when things kind of flipped. I was like, okay, cool. I don't know. I also didn't know anybody there. I hadn't really met those people. Maybe I met them once at the group ride. But there's a couple, most of the people I didn't really recognize or know their names and stuff. So I was just like, okay, I have no idea where I stand in this. Guessing it was low.
Yeah.
But I'm on a fixed gear bike. I'm not the most in shape person there.
Yeah.
And other people have just more, I don't know, they're just looked like they're more experienced and whatnot, and are more experienced and whatnot. So it's didn't know where I stood when I only saw 9 people there though.
Let me see if I can remember the teams. So it was you and me, Avery and Benson. Avery was my partner in the last Alley Cat race I did and has been on the show a few times. Benson, he throws Alley Cat races. He's a delivery messenger. And then it was Allison, Emily, and Teresa on a team. And then Dave and Josh with the big old mustache. Yeah, so
Josh with the big old
mustache. Got to give props to Emily and Allison and Teresa because they showed up in costumes.
Yes, that was awesome.
They had these pink...
the pink ladies.
Yeah, pink sort of
bomber jackets.
Yeah, and then big googly eyes on their helmets, which is cool.
We got our manifest, and so we all started planning out what we were gonna do and whatnot.
All right, velodrome lap. Wow, that's not there. Velvet Touch, Mitch. Which Velvet Touch? Where's that one?
Velvet Touch is at Eastern and 28th Street.
Okay, got it.
Next to the old Ground Round.
Boy, I have.
That's a restaurant.
It's just a funny ass name.
The old Ground Round.
The old Ground Round.
Okay, so the 4 corners are going to be the furthest points, and then all of these are close.
Gotcha.
So
If we hit one far out, then we can hit a bunch on the way back in.
Yeah.
And work our way. Where's the midway point?
I would skip Proven Trails Dune over that. Midway point is Lookout Park.
Do we have to take a picture there?
At 5:30.
Or is it just...
Which the other thing was, if I can talk about the manifest for a second. Oh, is that a copy of it?
Well, it's my hand-drawn copy. Otherwise, I think
I've got mine in my wallet.
Oh, cool.
Because I've been showing, when we got done with it, at work when I was telling people about it, I was like, check this out. Yeah, so when I got the manifest, another thing I didn't expect, because I'd never done this before, but I'm saying I didn't know what kind of spots would be on it. And honestly, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to make half of these. Okay, so the manifest has a bunch of spots around town.
The ones that I think are more centralized were worth the least amount of points, 4.2 points.
Yeah. And they were, so Clement Skate Park. I wouldn't have exactly thought about where that was because I've been past there, but only in the day. The Point, which sounds like it'd be like a landmark of some sort, but is in fact like a bar that's...
Yeah, it's a real towny bar,
Yeah.
like hidden in the corners
like on the
of
back.
the west side.
Yeah, like
it's
on the-
perfect. It's a great bar.
The top of Reed's Lake Gravel Road, which was out there. That one was like one of the further points.
Yeah.
Or rather, if you wanted to hit that one, you either had to be Avery and Benson super fast, or you had to like really strategically hit it. And we didn't build our plan that way. The county jail, that was one that I was like, what?
Yeah. You know, the county jail's apparently shaped like handcuffs.
Really?
Yeah, which cool, guys. Cool.
Yeah,
Like,
cool.
great. Yeah, cool.
Good job. we get it. You incarcerate people. Parkway Tropics was the next one. And I'm reading these down the line, but this is not like the order that you had to hit them. Like,
Yeah, they are not in a convenient order.
not at all.
As they appeared on the manifest.
Donkey in East on Wealthy Street restaurant. GRBC, the bike shop on Fulton. One Bun, which is on Division?
South of Burton.
South of Burton.
That'll come up.
And yeah, that will come up. And then it says Liberation Station, but it is in fact the Libation Station, which is a liquor store.
And those are all worth 4.2 points. The next set were referred to colloquially as the Four Corners, and they were worth 6.66 points. AJ's Family Fun Spot.
Specifically, you had to do a lap on their go-kart track and get video of it. You had to get proof of all of these.
But boy, that's incriminating AF. And then to the northeast, there was Proven Trails Sand Dune, which was while everybody was standing around at the start of the race. Like basically, you could overhear that nobody intended to go out there. It was the furthest northeast. It's not like really close to anything else. You know, it's a good spot, but
that's very
you know,
far
if
away.
If there was another hour and a half and maybe 2 more checkpoints to this race, I think it would have been worth going to. After that, Velvet Touch in the southeast and the old RC Velodrome in the southwest.
So where's the Velodrome down there?
The Velodrome is Marquette Park.
Gotcha, right there.
And then along 28th Street, it's a little further south.
Velvet Touch is over there.
Velvet Touch. Actually, the Velvet Touch is not even really a corner.
No.
Upon looking at a map, even though it's the Four Corners, this map would be very much a trapezoid?
Yeah, pretty much.
But not parallel.
All right, so the wild cards were riding a tunnel, and then the other one was chugging a beer / LaCroix. Both of those were worth 6.9 points.
It's the funny sex number.
Oh, hey, dude, all of them had great numbers.
Yeah, they're all funny numbers. So there were opportunities to do bonus points, but it wasn't really established what those things were. So there was some opportunity to sort of like make up your own and persuade the judges, because you know how competition works. There were ways to lose points. If you showed up late to the lookout point at 4:59 a.m., you would lose 1.3 points. And
No, it was 13 points.
okay, the photo I took of mine, I thought had a period in it. Okay, so yeah, that was more severe. I was gonna say like, because 1.3 points really isn't that big of a deal.
That's why like I didn't want to risk like getting another spot for like sacrificing being late.
Yeah, because 13 points is savage.
Yeah, dude.
Especially considering the bulk of these points aren't worth very much. So you would lose an entire corner and one of the regular spots. So sorry, you lose 13 points for that, or you could lose 13 points for not showing up at Logan's Alley at 6:59 a.m. So everybody gets the manifest, and we're standing around discussing, and suddenly...
And then all of a sudden, Mitch is just like, wait, what did he say?
He was like...
He said something like more, like, may the winds of something.
Right, just like the swift winds of justice come.
Swift
began.
And that was the start of it, and we all just took off.
Yeah, it was like go, which is a little different, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah. I was all about it.
Plus, I mean, it's not like, you know, those seconds really would have cost us anything.
And also at that point, given the style of race that this is, like, the whole point is you're just like, here's a bunch of points on a map, you got to collect them, do it as efficiently as you can. There's not like so about speed, but it's also about knowing the city and like knowing how to plan too. So like being clever like that, I guess, is also in your favor, can make up for if you're not as fast.
So yeah, we made the decision very early on that we're gonna book it to Parkway Tropics.
Yes, we're gonna hit that first.
I think maybe it's because I was excited, but we did not find a very efficient route to get to Parkway Tropics. Like, it was definitely just go down the street and turn right, and I took us down like an extra couple blocks. And
we're used to just like riding for fun though.
Yeah.
we don't like do things for like speed. We do things like the fun way.
I mean, even like when I'm driving with Patience, like we'll be driving around and she'll be like, "Why did you drive us this way?" I'm like, "Sorry, I'm on a bike in my head." So like always,
I like the scenery, so I went this way.
There was a red light we were coming up on, so I had to turn right. I'm sorry, we ended up this way.
Yeah, right.
So you and I book it, and we did.
Whichever way we took it, we got there right after Avery and Benson did.
Yeah, Avery and Benson beat us to Parkway Tropics, and then that was the last time we saw anybody until the halfway point.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So we spread out enough in the city. It was wild.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Which I feel like was a good amount of people for as small a city as Grand Rapids is. Oh yeah, well we went to Clement Skate Park, which I'd never been to before. So we saw the Clement Park sign. And then we went up, and I didn't know what it was. Like, I'd never been over there before.
Clement Park it's pretty dope. It's a DIY skate park. So like a bunch of just punk kids come out and build ramps, and
you can just build shit if you want to. Like.
Yeah, it's like a build it, skate it rules. I think. I don't quote me on that. It's probably on a Facebook page somewhere.
Gotcha.
But definitely a cool spot in Grand Rapids. I don't go there because the youths will make fun of me.
Yeah.
So I go at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so that proved hard to get proof of that because we were trying to take pictures of us there, but it was like so dark out that you couldn't really see like the ramps and shit.
Yeah.
So I had to take a video of Craig just riding up over a quarter pipe a couple times, just to prove that it was like happening.
Were you keeping up with me pretty good at that time?
At that point, yeah, I think so. Like that point, it wasn't too bad. I was like cold and wet still. I was waiting for like my shit to dry out.
Clement Skate Park's done. Parkway Tropics is done. Now we're off to the velodrome.
And then from there, we booked it toward the velodrome, which
this road is shit.
we were in that neighborhood. That's down like the southwest part of town in like Wyoming, and I've been like house hunting, and I've been like specifically like going like, I don't really want to bike in that area at night, and then here I am like racing there at 3:30 in the morning, and then I was like, it actually is pretty good. It's not bad here.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
New region unlocked.
Yeah, right. That's pretty cool.
So then we book it to the velodrome. Have you been there during the day?
Yeah, we've been there a couple times.
Okay, good. Because like that place is sweet.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like all overgrown and shit. It'd suck if we could just get like a group of people to come out and just like everybody brings their own like weed killer.
Yeah, and like some loppers
and loppers and shit, and just like cut everything back. It'd be really fun velodrome to like race on.
It's not like a perfect oval because it used to be like an RC car track.
Yeah,
RC cars have not been popular for some years, so it has gone to the wayside. But it's a cool spot to like post up and
it's a spot that not everybody would know to go to.
Yeah,
either like just because I was talking to a guy at work that I work with, who is like just an avid cyclist. I was like, showed him the manifest. He's like, "What's this velodrome thing? There's a velodrome in Grand Rapids?" And I'm like, because he wanted to do it, but he works third shift, and so he had to work during this thing. I was like, "Oh, that's like in Marquette Park, like it's down over here, or something like that." Trying to explain to him where. He's like, "Where?" And I'm like, "Yeah, some of these spots you wouldn't know unless like you rode with like the kind of like I don't know whatever community we're like hang out with like." That's how I found out about that spot. And like the ride, I feel like the ride's gone there before.
Oh, for sure. It's I think we might not have last year, or it was like a preseason ride. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know I don't lead mini group rides, but I've definitely led a ride to that velodrome before. After that, we booked it toward the Velvet Touch, which I think I managed to pull off a decent route here, because this was not an inefficient time for me, but I was definitely just guessing where I was going.
That was the other thing. Craig was totally in the lead the whole time. Like I just let him take it because he kind of understood, so I was just like, I
was like sleep deprived and I had just had those Cliff Bars, and I'm only like really good at one thing, and that's like focusing and riding my bike.
I got like, I was pretty disoriented a lot of the time, like just from being tired and it being dark out and like no food. Like I tried to eat something before I like left for the ride or left for it, but by the time we got to the halfway point, I was starving and like so thankful you had those like Cliff Bars. That's all I ate until we went to Logan's.
So yeah, we book it to Velvet Touch, which is just a sex shop. Surprise! There's not a lot of bike history there.
And it's on 28th Street.
Parkway Tropics is a strip club. I don't know if that came across. Sorry.
No, we didn't even mention that.
We didn't even mention that.
It's a jump. It's like it's a strip club. Well, it's like a bikini bar basically, but yeah.
I wouldn't know. I only went to Lady Godiva's, but that was just swimsuits. They did have a hell of a buffet at 2:00 in the morning, though. Best eggs in Grand Rapids. Rip in peace, Godiva.
They had a shower on stage and best eggs in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Bachelor party. What am I supposed to do? Not have fun?
Yeah, so not eat eggs.
Not eat eggs.
So from I remember this part from Velvet Touch. One of the few things I remember from Velvet Touch, we booked it down Eastern because it leads straight back into town.
Which was wild because we were able to ride Burton, which is a normally pretty busy road. Yeah. Middle of the night, barely, like, I don't think a car passed us.
No, Eastern, same thing. Usually a super busy road.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with Eastern during the day.
It's got some
4:00 in the morning,
on
absolutely.
It, yeah, a couple stupid inclines. But yeah, 4 in the morning, perfect for riding that thing. So we zipped on up. We hit Donkey. We kind of zigzagged through my neighborhood, past my house, actually.
On the way to Donkey, we did sort of like, this is when time was starting to run out. Before the first half. And
at first we were thinking maybe we can make it to Reed's Lake into the meetup point.
I'm looking at the manifest, and already we had to scrap Proven Trails because that's way in the middle of nowhere. And then everything else was looking pretty reasonable except for the Reed's Lake gravel. And so I was thinking maybe we'd be able to make it because, at this point we're on the southeast side of town. We're heading north if we just go a mile or two further east. But again, we were getting close to 459 and we, already sacrificing points by not going to Proven Trails. We couldn't afford to take that 13-point hit.
Yep. So we hit Donkey, and then we went up real quick and hit GRBC.
And I got a sick skid on that sidewalk. We went back to take the photo, and I was like, that's like a 15-foot skid.
And then we booked it over to
the halfway point.
The halfway point, and we were the first ones there.
Which netted us some of those sweet, sweet miscellaneous points.
Yeah, exactly. First one's there, extra points.
And then, because Mitch was there, we were able to log in and bank all everything we'd hit so far.
Exactly.
So it seemed like we had a good lead at the time. But again, we were the first people there.
Yeah, exactly. we didn't know we didn't know what that meant. And then everybody else started rolling in.
Yeah, Avery, of course, and Benson, I think, ended up starting to neck out ahead of everybody. And then, let's see, this was a good opportunity for you to earn us some more miscellaneous points and chug a beer. Which,
oh, yeah. Can we shotgun it, or do you gotta, chug it?
Either or. Shotgunning is chugging.
Damn! See, we probably gotta
That's my teammate.
That's why he brought me.
He just definitely beat Dave on the beer.
that was faster points.
I didn't recruit an athlete, but I did recruit an alky.
Everybody was very surprised at...
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
You guys this didn't happen. The one dude chugged a beer. And
yeah, he chugged it, but the speed, I think, is what's... They did not really expect that from you.
I got talents, they're just not all bike related.
I was like, yeah, I picked it. I didn't pick him because he bikes fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Beyond that, the halfway point was pretty uneventful. Mostly we just chatted.
Chatted,
we didn't even talk. I don't think we even talked about race stuff.
We were just drinking and fucking around and shit.
And I don't think I started feeling shitty until the halfway point. And this is just because I went from we had just sprinted up Eastern, we had booked it there, we got there, first, and then then to stand around for a half hour, it was suddenly putting me out of it.
Oh yeah, it started getting cold. Luckily, I got drunk, so I started feeling better. I didn't get like drunk, but I chugged a beer and then I drank like 2 more beers.
Well, I would say this is where things start getting perilous on our journey. It was at this point, once everybody had been at the halfway for a half hour, the race began again. So Steve and I decided we're gonna go to jail because that sounds fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the jail thing.
And I was like, it's basically due east of here.
This is sleepy.
Meanwhile,
this is Sleepy Craig trying to figure it out.
We're at like the highest point in Grand Rapids, like at this latitude line. Let's just say. So like it's just nothing but valley to the west and then nothing but hills to the east. But I'm like, that's the fastest way.
yeah. So it's like we're cold, we're not really warmed up yet, and we just start hitting hills.
Yeah, so yeah, we're hitting these hills and we're bombing them, and you're following me, and we keep fucking getting dead ends.
Yeah, we keep finding dead end like streets. I didn't know there were so many cul-de-sacs.
I am just like getting fear, and I'm mud on my face. Like I'm like, what have I done? I'm feeling great shame. I grew up with that. I was raised Baptist, but my father was Catholic at one point, so I do still get that Catholic guilt, and I just like am beating myself because I'm like, dead end. God damn it, what have I done? And then I saw
the
stairs, and I knew exactly what was about to happen, and I turned to you and I said,
All right, Steve, forgive me for this.
And then he sprints, and then he just starts sprinting up the stairs.
I throw my bike over my shoulder and I sprint up the Bradford Street stairs, which is just like, it's like 5 steps, landing, 5 steps, landing, 5 steps, landing, like 8 sets of that.
Yeah. And every single one of them, he'd just like be like, I'm sorry. And then keep going.
And
Yeah,
it was the fastest
bad.
way from where we ended up.
It was.
But then, we're still now at the top of another hill.
Yes.
And so we end up bombing, more hills and up hills and down hills. And now I'm starting to notice a gap between you and I.
Yeah. Then I started falling back a little bit.
I keep turning and giving a thumbs up, which is my usual passive aggressive for I'm very sorry, but
no, you kept going.
You have to hang on.
And I did. I had to dig deep, but I did. Kept up with you. That part in particular, I was like lagging behind pretty hard. It was hard for me to keep up with you going up the hills.
So I checked our Strava afterward, and I'm pretty sure that's the most altitude I've gotten in a
single thing.
In a single like short bike, like 4-hour bike ride. I mean, I don't go after hills a lot, but like I rarely get 1,200 feet.
Yeah.
So, good job, buddy.
Yeah, man. It jump started my like workout routine basically. So
we finally make it to jail.
We hit the jail. At
this point, we're sacrificing other checkpoints. Because I had basically, as the sun was starting to rise, I was becoming less comfortable with going to AJ's and doing the lap because it is trespassing. And
exactly.
I wouldn't want to do that during the daytime.
Yeah.
And so like I'd sacrifice that, so I know we're gonna lose another 6.66 points there. So we're already down 13, whatever.
Yeah.
And so we start booking it to the libation station. Because we'd already given up on Reed's Lake. Can't make it back that far east.
No, not gonna happen. We were focusing on the other side of town at this point.
So I'm thinking we can hit up libation station, one bun, the point, the tunnel, and do the tunnel thing, and we'd be good. So we start making our way up north to the libation station, and I only see this place on bike rides, and so like I know it's on Coit, and I'm just like, we just gotta go north. And it was like the longest 2.5 miles.
Oh yeah.
And I was getting like furious. I was like, God damn it.
Dude,
and you're behind me yelling like, where is this place?
Yeah, dude. I was like, what the fuck?
Because again, there was more climbing on Coit.
It never ends. Yeah, it was like kind of a gradual climb though.
Yeah.
So it just sucked just like enough. God damn.
So we finally get there, and at this, I didn't even notice the sunrise, but like I was looking back over the pictures today, and like suddenly like in the photos, like the sun's out.
Yeah, exactly. In between that, we didn't take a lot of pictures, but because we were looking for the jail.
Yeah, I get so tunnel focused. So we hit up the libation station, and I'm looking back, and I'm like, okay, so we can hit the point, do the tunnel, swing by downtown, because in my head I'm like, one bun is on Division. So yeah, at that point, I think we just we book it to the point, which get to the point. There's your pun. And then we needed bonus points. So
yeah, well then we had to hit the tunnel, and I had to pee. And this is when Craig discovered like the whole one bun situation. Actually,
oh, is this where?
Because you needed to stop and check like the map, and I needed to pee something awful.
All right, we're gonna abandon one bun because we fucking rode right by it at one point. We were. It was off. It was just south of Burton. I should have looked up where one bun was when we started. Foiled.
The ideal time would have gotten it between the Velodrome and the Velvet Touch.
Yeah.
And I was so mad.
He was very mad. I peed in the tunnel before we rode through it, which, to be fair, it smells like pee anyway. And I know a lot of homeless people do it, so. But yeah, so I did that. And then I was like, wait, this has got to be worth points. So I had Craig take a picture of it. So, yes, he got just my back. Just like in the
I think you
tunnel.
can zoom in.
If you need to confirm or not, go for it.
There's real pee there.
But yeah, so that got us some more bonus points in the end. So then Craig figures out that one bun is in the wrong spot.
And it was over. I was so mad.
We're like, all right, well, we just got to get to Logan's at that point, right?
Yeah, and I think you and I had sort of figured either third or fourth place would have been good for us.
Oh yeah, we were like very settled into the idea of like we're just doing this
yeah.
to like do it and see what it's like, document for the show. And
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think we gave it our best, but like we didn't really have very high expectations of ourselves. Like,
yeah. Oh man, no.
Not that we should be discouraging our own behavior here. We roll in. I think we had 9 minutes to spare. So basically everything we had to cut out needed to be cut out. We were not even the first people to arrive there. I was like, oh, cool. So I guess we won't get extra bonus points for that. But yeah, so we sit down, have the meal,
order some Bloody Marys, and everybody ordered some food.
Of course, can't have any recording in there because of the music that was playing.
Oh yeah, of course.
So yeah, we let's see. For fourth place was was that the Pink Ladies?
Yes.
And then third was Dave and the Mustache.
Yes.
And then the drum roll. Second place,
which it took a second to figure out, was us.
Yay!
The Wheel Friends.
The Wheel Friends. So yeah, we and then first, of course, was Avery and Benson, who
we all knew that was gonna happen.
if I would have put money on anybody at the beginning, would have been those two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm not a gambling man, but yeah, they were shoo-ins. Really,
for sure, most definitely. But yeah, they like were going through like the point totals. I don't remember how many points we got total.
Probably 69,420.
We could do the math right now.
I don't. I have no idea.
Miscellaneous points are worth.
All right, so we only got 2 of the points that are worth 6.66. So that's 13.32 points.
Anyway, it doesn't matter how many points we got. They set our thing second, and we were just like, wow. I was like, wait, did we get second place? And you're like, yeah, I think so. I was like, sweet.
Yeah, it's the best I ever done. I did it for Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Right. Which actually, given how few people were there, everybody got prizes.
Which is nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
And so shout out to all those sponsors for really hooking it up.
Seriously, all the sponsors that were involved. We had stuff donated from Donkey and the Winchester, gift cards,
GRBC, One Bun.
We had a thing for a Kiss Cross race.
Yeah, Kiss Cross, and then 934 Bagworks. So prizes were divvied up, and we had delicious breakfast, and that was it. So overall, what did you think of your first Alley Cat race?
It was fun. It was a great deal of fun. I had more fun than was uncomfortable.
Yeah, which
that's something that I've just learned. I don't know, going on the weird, like the random trips that we've done, and like all the rides that we've been on, like I don't know. I've gotten used to being wet, I guess is my point. Like the first 3 rides that we went on this summer or this like season rained on us.
Yeah.
And it's like, so this was no different. And I'm like, so I just accepted being wet and it was fine. Like I got tired. I could barely keep up with you at times, but my thing is, the thing that I'm proud of is you never like let up though, really. You just kept on going. And so I was like, and I never lost you. So that's why I'm like, no, fuck yeah, I could keep up.
I mean, I know it's, even if you fall behind on a bike, it's normally like 10, 15 seconds. So it's, if I got there first, I just like 3, 2, 1, you'd be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but no, yeah, you did great. Yeah, this was the first one like I think I tried to be competitive with, because like I didn't really.
Yeah. Well, once we saw like how few like people there were, like we were like, oh no, I think we can push ourselves on this. Like,
yeah,
might as well give it our all. Like,
yeah. While I was laying in bed, I think I was deciding how I felt about this race, and I was like, you've never really given racing a real honest try and like admitted to yourself that you're doing it for the sake of it being a race. I don't know why I get so hung up on it, but like in my head, I don't want to try racing because I have no desire to be competitive, but I have no real reason to feel that way.
Yeah.
So I was laying in bed and I was like, I'm going to allow this feeling to happen. I'm going to be in this race.
Yeah, for sure. That's how I was feeling. It's like once we were into it, I was just like, oh no, man. Like, one, the faster we went, the warmer I was. So
yes.
that was a big portion of it. Big motivation not to stop.
I got down to shorts and a t-shirt. Like it was a pretty nice night.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty nice. Like as long as you're moving and weren't soaking wet.
Biking between 3 and 7 a.m. Any thoughts on that?
I love it. I mean, it's a perfect time. Like people at work or like people that I've been talking to or told about it and stuff are like, oh man, this seems pretty dangerous. I'm like, what? Because there's less cars on the road.
yeah.
I was like, it's the best, man. Like there's nobody around. I can just ride like in a full lane, like down a major street, and nobody's behind me to give a shit. So it's like pretty awesome.
I woke up at 4:30 this morning on my own, just like without, being prompted or anything. I just woke up and I was like, if it wasn't raining, I could go for a bike ride right now.
Yeah, right.
I get it. I get why people wake up early and go for bike rides.
Or like runs and stuff because there's like nobody out
nobody
then.
there. You got a couple extra hours in the day.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That's growing old, I guess. Growing up.
That's
aging.
growing
That's
up.
aging. I'm becoming a man.
Finally.
At the age of 29, he's finally figuring it out.
No, toward the end of it, it was good. I mean, we were just tired as shit, and like haggard and whatnot. Like after we got the last point, we decided like, all right, we just got to get back. Then it was like, and that I guess that's the one thing we got to add is like from the last like checkpoint that we reached to the bar that we had to go to, we had to go up we had to go basically up the hill of Grand Rapids.
Yeah. The bar is at the top of a hill.
Well, it's on the other side of like a hill basically because it goes back down.
Yeah. If I could do it all over, I would have done everything on the top of the hill first, and then gone down. Because we could have avoided that whole hilly section between the jail. We probably could have. I still think Proven Trails wouldn't be doable. No other team went to Proven Trails.
No, it wouldn't have been doable. You would have had to been more like way faster.
Yeah.
In order to do Proven Trails.
I think you would have had to have an inside man giving you the tips.
Yeah, seriously.
to plan out the most efficient route.
Eye in the sky, yeah, exactly.
But like, yeah, no, I got to the point where I was like, all right, so it's 2 to 3 miles away, so it's going to be 6 miles round trip. If I'm normally biking like 12 to 16 miles an hour, I know that a 6-mile bike trip is going to be almost a half hour. And, when you're looking at this timed race, like you can't really afford that.
Yeah, exactly.
And even from direct route, if you go from like Reed's Lake to Proven Trails to the furthest north of AJ's, like you're just burning like so much time.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It was tricky to, like I said, if you hadn't even like given a stab at planning it out, I would have been pretty lost. A lot of this shit, I didn't know where it was.
It was like a video game though, just sort of totally throwing it all together.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like, that's what I loved about it. Like, this is why, like, this was way more appealing to me than like your typical like race, because this like was pretty creative. It's like you've just got checkpoints you got to hit. Yeah,
and you don't have to like worry about this peloton. And all in all, I mean, you're competing with other people, but I mean, you're not competing with yourself, but like it is just like more you out there, and you get to.
It's a race where you're encouraged to drink beer along the way.
Be yourself. Cue triumphant music. The Sport of Champions, the 3 a.m. Alley Dawg, and all other Alley Cat races. God bless America.
God bless bicycles.
God bless the Wheel Friends. Happy 1 year. Thank you, all the day ones.
All the day ones. This is the 1 year episode?
And actually, 1 year, the first episode came out May 19th. It's May 21st as we're recording this. So I missed it by 2 days, and I still have to edit all this, so probably going to miss it by more. But whatever. Hey, it happened. Yeah, 1 year. Woo!
Woo, yeah.
The average podcast lasts 7 episodes.
This is not the average podcast.
We're above average now. Although the average podcast has 150 downloads each episode. So make sure you're sharing the show with your friends. Like and subscribe. We're on iTunes, Google Play, all that jazz. We're on everywhere. Anyway, if you have a robot that you talk to, you can probably be like, Smart Home, play the Wheel Friends podcast. It probably will. Leave a review on iTunes. We're on Twitter, Instagram. Steve's looking at me like, shut the fuck up. I want to go home.
No. It's not that. I was just like waiting for a good part to be like, go ride your bike.
Go ride your bike.